Welcome to the 4A non-select bracket. There's a lot more games in the first round I'm actually gonna have to pick than I have had to in most other brackets. So let's hit the ground running. First of all, this one's probably gonna be a little bit of a close one, but I'm gonna pick Eunice just based on what I've seen. Carver and LB Landry, these two teams faced each other around week 6, I think, week 5 or week 6, and they played, and Carver won 15-13. But Landry, the improvements made by Carver over that time seem to be more than what Landry has made in that time. Now, don't let the rankings in this game fool you. Now, Salmon's a solid squad. Don't get me wrong, but eight might be a little high. Then again, 4A doesn't have a lot of depth. Plaquemine, however, they struggled to start the year, but a situation forced their head coach out, and an assistant who has had previous success as a head coach at the small school level has been interim coaching for the past few weeks, and it's led them to some impressive wins, including over their district champion. So with that said, I'm picking Plaquemine to win this one. Leesville and Assumption, I'm taking Leesville in this one. They took a couple lumps early in the year, but they seem to have righted the ship since. North DeSoto and Rain, this is one I'll come back to, but really interesting matchup. South Lafourche and Opelousas. Now, South Lafourche has gotten better as the year has gone on, but not to the degree that Opelousas. The last 4 weeks, Opelousas High has been playing like some pretty impressive ball, especially for their standards. Bell Chase and Estruma. Now, Estruma has a back that's committed to LSU, and Bell Chase, I mean, they're no slouch of a football team, but in the end, I'm taking Estruma to win, even as the lower seed having to travel. And lastly, Bel Air and Karen Crow. Bel Air having had one of the most impressive single-season turnarounds in recent LHSAA memory. Karen Crow, who came into the season with expectations, but their QB got hurt a few weeks ago, and they've kind of had some struggles since. However, that said, I'm still going to pick them to win this one because their defense, because their offensive line, and the rushing attack they can get from that. You know, it'll be a close one, I think. You know, saw someone say they think it'll be a blowout. Absolutely not. Like, this should be, like, if Karen Crow wins, it should be close. So anyway, moving on to the next round. Oh, so my pick here is actually, I think North DeSoto comes down and beats Rain. And here's the thing. Rain, up to week 9, I would have picked them. But this past week, after losing a hard-fought game against Liberty, they turned right back around and almost lost to a district opponent that had no business beating them. They pulled out the win, but I think that carries over into this game. And we'll move on to the next round to explain why this matchup's going to be interesting. Now, first of all, let's just quick pick some of these. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the state. Eunice just won't keep up. I'll come to this one later. Westgate, they're at the level of team that that Leesville was playing early in the year that was giving them trouble. It doesn't matter if I would have picked South Lafourche or Opelousas. I was going to quick pick Warren Easton anyway. I'll come back to this one and this one. Neville, unfortunately, even if they have to travel, they're like Karen Crow's thing is line play. That's the thing that's going to give them the chance in any game in the playoffs. Neville's going to have them beat there. So coming back up here, Carver's a team with a lot of good athletes and speed on the team. But, man, Plaquemine, if they would have played all year like they were playing now, they probably would have been a top 5 seed. So I'm picking them to move on. Now, this is one where I'm going to, again, come back to this one later. Estruma and Huntington. Huntington's a team that they've struggled in games they have no business struggling in. And Estruma, again, they're a team that they've been a bit up and down, but again, they have that running back Moss that is, if he's not committed to LSU, he's being pursued by them. And I think that strong rushing attack that Estruma's going to present is enough to get them by Huntington. And yes, a 22 seed in the quarters. With how 4A is this year, that is quite possible. Cecilia and Lakeshore. Now, Cecilia has a really good passing game. They're going to be able to score points through the air. Also, I just noticed that this is spelled wrong. But that's the stuff you discover doing this live. Lakeshore, now they faced, where are they? Where's Salmon? Where's Salmon? Oh yeah, they were the 8 seed up here. Lakeshore as the 10 seed faced Salmon and as now the 8 and beat them week 10. And Lakeshore, they're not going to throw the ball a lot, but you know, they have a lot of speed. They're going to, penetrate gaps on defense and play fast and loose. But at the end of the day, I think Lakeshore's speed wins them this game. Close, but wins them the game. And coming back to this one, they played week 10. Northwood won 13-7 off of 7 North DeSoto turnovers. But anyway, I'm picking North DeSoto to pull the big upset here. I think they clean up the turnover issue a little bit because that hasn't seemed to be characteristic of them throughout the year, and they move on to the quarters. Now, for Plaquemines' run, unfortunately, it ends here. Edna Carr, they've got just crazy speed all over the field, led by Aaron Anderson, the now Bama commit. Westgate, they've also got a lot of speed all over the field. They run North DeSoto off the field. Estruma's run comes to an end in pretty spectacular fashion, and Lakeshore's run game doesn't save them now. Okay, here we go. Now, Westgate has a lot of speed on defense in the secondary. They're led by a safety who's an LSU commit, but Edna Carr is just, if your strength is speed, like maybe only Catholic would have Carr beat in that department, maybe, in the state of Louisiana. Neville and Warren Easton. Now, Neville is finally meeting a team that can relatively match them in physicality. After the big hurricane came through, Warren Easton got a couple of transfers on the line that have made them even better in that department. This game comes down to the wire. I think Warren Easton moves on and wins. And here's the interesting thing about this. These two teams have played already. It was 20-18. And there's just something funny about Carr and Easton. They play each other often. It always comes down to one possession. And every time Edna Carr wins. Every time. I don't know what it is that makes it always happen that way, but I'm not deviating from that here. So yeah, Edna Carr is your 4A non-select champions. And that's about it.